They said he would never make it. They laughed at his accent. They mocked his skin. He was just a poor kid from Africa, shoeless, hopeless, and nameless. But today, they whisper his name in boardrooms and speak of his story like legend. This is the unbelievable journey of a boy they once rejected, who stole a $10 million check, bought a house, got himself a girlfriend, and rose from nothing to become the cornerstone they never saw coming. In a dusty village in rural Africa, under a sky that offered more stars than hope, lived an 11-year-old boy named Jalil. He had no shoes, often no food, just a dream, one that seemed impossible from where he stood. His mother was a vegetable vendor. His father had vanished years ago. The world had handed him nothing. But Jalil had something no one could take: vision. He would sit by the river with broken books, learning English by copying words into the sand. At school, if you could call it that, he always sat at the back, not by choice, but because he didn't have a uniform. They called him names, laughed when he spoke up. But he listened. At just 11, Jalil made a bold decision. He stowed away inside a cargo shipment headed overseas. No passport, no plan, just hope. The journey nearly killed him. But days later, he landed in a world that moved fast, spoke louder, and judged even faster, a western city buzzing with. He was homeless, sleeping near train stations. He asked for food, and got stares. He asked for help, and got cursed at. But he kept learning. Every rejection sharpened his resolve. And then, one rainy day, fate placed temptation in his hands. Outside a luxury office building, he found a torn briefcase. Inside was a single check, signed, sealed, and shockingly blank. But not just any check. It was written for $10 million. His heart raced. He knew what it meant. He also knew it wasn't his. But poverty talks louder than morality when your stomach hasn't been full in weeks. Jalil did the unthinkable. Using an abandoned laptop in a public library, he altered the name on the check and managed to cash it through an online loophole, a flaw in an outdated banking system. Impossible. Yes. But so is a boy learning code from trash books. And just like that, $10 million became his. Jalil didn't buy cars. He didn't throw parties. He vanished. Silently, he purchased a modest but beautiful house under an alias. He enrolled himself in online schooling. He learned finance, tech, law. He hired lawyers, accountants, all remotely. They never met him, never questioned. He invested, smartly. Stocks, real estate, crypto, businesses. He watched his $10 million grow into $50 million within 3 years. Greater than, he dressed well, spoke better, walked differently. And then came love. Her name was Mia, a kind, intelligent girl who never asked about his past. She fell for the mind behind the boy. But the past has a funny way of knocking on doors, even when you've changed the locks. One day, the system caught up. Investigations launched. The media painted him as a fraud. They called him a thief, a scammer, a threat. They didn't care where he came from or why he did it. But instead of hiding, Jalil stood up. He held a press conference. And in front of flashing cameras, he told the world everything: the poverty, the rejection, the racism, the pain, and the truth behind that check. What happened next, no one expected. The world didn't cancel him. It embraced him. His story went viral. Billionaires offered mentorship. Lawmakers offered leniency. He paid back the money tenfold, anonymously. He created scholarships for African kids like him. Built schools. Started tech companies hiring other refugees and outcasts. He gave more than he ever took. And the girl. She stayed. Not because of his money, but because of the man he'd become. From the dusty corners of an African village to the towering buildings of the Western world, Jalil proved something timeless, that sometimes, the stone the builders reject, becomes the cornerstone. He didn't just change his story, he changed the narrative for millions like him. And because greatness has no passport. And hope has no borders.